fans. How you guys doing? Merry Christmas. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I'm sitting down here by the pool in Destin, Florida. I'm going through my quarantine, and you guys can take that for what you want. But everybody in my family so far is good, no problems, except this guy. So anyway, just wanted to kind of wrap up the year that wasn't. Had a rough year for the Chevelle Club. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't go anywhere. We did do a few outings here and there that, with the circumstances the way they were. We did a couple of picnics in the park orchestrated by Jim Umstead. That was real nice. Didn't do any cruising with the Chevelle wagon all summer. Finally got it fixed and didn't take it anywhere. But I did finish the Comet, as most of you know, and got to drive that a little bit. The white car, been out of the garage once. So it's been a tough year for everybody. Health-wise, prosperity-wise, everybody's been struggling. So here's to a great 2021. We've got a great show coming up in August. Make sure you guys get your registrations in. I'll make sure Mark has a new form on the website and on Facebook. So you guys can, we got to make up for this. We got to make a hell of a year in 2021. We really, really got to kick it in gear. We gave a donation to Toys for Tots last month so that they can continue to do the good work that they've done. If anybody has any toys left, Frank Clark Agency in Columbia Station is taking your donations. I think they'll be picking those toys up in the next couple of days, so make sure you get out there and drop off the toys if you have some. Unfortunately, no Christmas party this year. That's one we look forward to every year. It's a great event, and unfortunately we can't have it this year. Maybe if next year pans out, we'll have something in the spring again. We haven't had a cleanup at Larry's in a long time, so maybe we could talk to Larry and have something over there at his place and do a spring fling cleanup as we used to do. Didn't have one this year, obviously. So just want to make sure everybody has a great Christmas and a great new year. It can't get any worse than this year has been for a lot of us. So everybody, God bless, take care, see you next year, and have a great holiday season. See ya.
Hey, Mark Meldrum, Northern Ohio Chevelle Club, and we are in Studio 1A, which is inside the house, not out in the garage, so that we could start this newsletter off talking about this beautiful TV set that we're going to give away in this month's newsletter. So some lucky member will get this TV set that we had originally purchased to use at the Cleveland Piston Power Show, and of course you guys know that got canceled, and so I had taken this out of the box, got it all set up, made sure it worked, and we're going to have club videos basically being presented to everybody that walked by our display. So that didn't happen, and after that we're going to give away the TV set to some lucky member at the Christmas party, and of course we didn't have a Christmas party, so had to figure out another way to give it away. So we put everybody's names in a hat, and we drew a name out, and President Joe will announce that name at the end of this month's video newsletter. So stay tuned for everything in the newsletter this month. It's a beautiful TV set. It's a Westinghouse Roku equipped TV set, and 4K Ultra HD 50-inch TV. You can see it takes up, I've got this little bench here in my office, and I've got like a 32-inch TV sitting behind this, so it dwarfs that little TV. So that's great. So we got that going on. We're going to give away this TV set. And also in this month's newsletter, we'll get out in Meldrum's Monster Garage and show you what we've been working on. We've had some successes and we've had some failures out in the garage, and I really like to stay positive and not talk about failures, so we'll show you anyway. Don't worry, Mike, it's not your car. It's definitely my car that's having issues with the LS motor that we need to dig pretty deep on to figure out. So and then we've been working on Mike's 67 SS Chevelle race car. Of course, we got that started up, and it sounds glorious. Oh my God, when you start that thing up, it rumbles the whole house. And we've been working on interior parts for that. We're finishing up the headliner, and this is the first headliner I ever did, so it came out pretty decent. I'm pretty happy with that, and we'll show you some tips and tricks on that I think we started last month, but we'll finish that up. And of course we got new carpet in the car, we got the seats cleaned up, and some other interior parts, so that it makes the car a little more, let's say, sterile. I had to dig quite a few mice out of that car, not only in the car, in the seats, but also in the headliner, and it was pretty gross stuff. But hey, that's the part of restoring these cars. That not the fun part, but that's one of the parts. Been texting back and forth with Brian Sarver. Brian was a fabulous contributor when I was doing a printed newsletter, and we did a printed newsletter for quite a few years, and then we switched over to the video format just because it's easier for me. But unfortunately, it excluded some people that aren't so crazy about making videos every month. So Brian sent me some pictures and some text, and I'll read you that and go through what he's been working on out in his garage. And hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. That's how the texting between Brian and I started. He wanted to wish me a happy Thanksgiving and let me know that everybody's okay in his family, and he wanted to know about our family. So everybody's okay. This is the day after Thanksgiving, so we had just Patty and myself here for Thanksgiving. We're on lockdown, as you would say, trying to make sure we can make it through this year healthy and COVID-free. So we got that going on. So that's about it. Hopefully everybody else reports in. I haven't, I'm not sure if everybody reports in yet, but we're expecting things from the Mind of Jeff. We're expecting things from Mels Musings. We're expecting Gerry, and hopefully Pat will tell us how things are going with the money in the Northern Ohio Chevelle Club. But hey, sorry we didn't have a meeting this month. Like I say, we're still on lockdown, but things are still happening in the background. Don't think your money is going to waste. We're still making this newsletter. We're still paying our taxes. We're still got operating expenses to keep this club going. So I appreciate that. You know, even though we didn't have as much expenses this year, we didn't have as much opportunity to pull money into the club either to give out to charities. But hey, we took care of Toys for Tots, and I felt good about that. So, all right, there you go. Let's get on with the newsletter.
From the Mind of Jeff by Jeff Thompson.
This is your old pal Jeff Thompson, and it's about November the 28th. What you're looking at is the Ohio River. We got not many days like this. It's probably about 40, 45 degrees maybe. But I ain't put mine up yet. As long as the skies look like this, I'm going to look like this. But I did put my snow tires on. I took the slicks off, had the slicks on all this year. And I don't know if you ever rode with slicks, but if you sit on them for a while, they sure get flat spots in them. But I can't tell you how many times this 67's been on top of this hill taking pictures of the car. I come up here when I first got the car many years ago, and back when it was a 283 3-speed on a column car, and I had a lot of fun with it. Then I decided to do big block. I actually had a little small block in there, you know, like I said, a 283 3-speed on a column. And that was a fun little car. It just didn't, I knew what direction I was going to head. But, like I said, what a wonderful day out here. You know, My philosophy on this stuff is drive them, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And if you died, isn't that a crazy ass thought? Then you would never be able to drive them anymore. So I'll talk at you later, but this is kind of what I like to do. Like I said, this is one of the prettier spots. This is north of Cincinnati, right on the Ohio River. You can't get any better than this. I'll talk to you later. Say goodbye to the 67 till next year. See ya.
All right, Sunday morning. We're going to get the newsletter out quick. I'm not sure where I'll put this in the newsletter, so things may appear out of order. But we're out in Meldrum's Monster Garage, and one thing you got to do is get these cars ready for winter storage. And Donna Petrillo was nice enough to send me an email about, you know, what to do to store their cars. Of course, they've got 3 cars they got to store. They got Wayne's 69 Chevelle. They got Big Blue 69 with the supercharger. And then they got Little Red, which is Donna's convertible. So she sent me a note on what they plan on doing. So as far as putting away cars for the winter, we did the following. Took them for one last drive, did a couple burnouts in the driveway, and left some black lines matter. I think I hit a kick out of that. Then we put Wayne's car on the lift so he can do some work this winter on the front end, ball joints and tie rods, ends, etc. So we'll try to get our cameras over to Petrillo's Monster Garage, or whatever they call it over there, and check out some of Wayne's work this winter. Then we got Big Blue pulled up front, battery put on trickle charger. That is a great thing to put your cars on. You don't want a charger that constantly puts 12 volts on the battery, because the chemistry inside, the fluids inside the battery will begin to boil, and then the level of the battery will go down below the metals that the chemistry is reacting with to create electricity, and you certainly don't want any exposed metal inside the battery. You want it to be in a complete bath so it continues to make more power. And if you boil off that water in the battery, that's a bad thing. So what you want is a trickle charger. Now, trickle chargers, over the years, they've definitely improved. And it used to be they would just zap it on a timer. They just applied 12 volts on a timer. Harbor Freight had and still has this battery charger, which just applies constant 12 volts. You don't want that. But what I did find in Harbor Freight just recently, and I'll post a copy of this somewhere right around here or something. I'll put a picture of it. But it's a computer-controlled, nice little miniature battery charger, and I got it on sale at Harbor Freight for like 20 bucks. And it's got a computer inside it that monitors the voltage of the battery and only applies a charge to the battery when it drops below a certain amount. That's the kind of charger you want, computer controlled. And this thing's nice and small, good enough for one battery, and I think it was around 20 bucks. So they have a whole new line of battery chargers on sale at Harbor Freight. I mean, I'm not a Harbor Freight advertisement here, but I have read some articles with the president of the company, and he believes in purchasing, good tools at a low price. Now, not everything in Harbor Freight is great, but I tell you, as the years go on, they are improving, and they've got some good stuff. I mean, I've got a toolbox over there, I think came from Harbor Freight. We give them away at our show, and they're nice, but other things you got to watch out for. So, yeah, there's my spiel. Also, they put dryer sheets in the car. So you want to put dryer sheets on the interior so the mice don't get in there. I prefer Bounce. They seem to have worked well over the years. I'm not a big mothball fan because it makes the car stink. Other other people use ivory soap. So Donna said she even put some bounce dryer sheets in the tips of the exhaust so the mice wouldn't crawl up into the exhaust system. And I think that's a good idea too. So throughout the barn here, I've got some mouse poison, and we'll put bounce dryer sheets in there, and that'll be it, I guess. So, you know, obviously you probably already washed and waxed your car before you put it away. You put a nice cover over it, and you're all set, unless you plan to work on your car over the winter. Which brings us to the elephant in the room. Yes, this is the LS motor taken out of the 66 Chevelle. And if you'll recall in previous newsletter, I had to get towed home. The motor wouldn't start. I thought it was a starter. Put a new starter in, and I got it to crank a little bit more, but it wasn't cranking at all. And so I took the spark plugs out. I tried to turn the motor by hand, and it was really, really harder than necessary to turn it by hand. So then we drained the oil and saw all sorts of little silver particles in the motor, and at that time I said, okay, it's time for this motor to come out. I'm not quite sure what happened yet, but I did get the motor out of the car. I think Larry was amazed how quick I got the motor out of the car, but I tell you, this thing is so light compared to these big blocks I've been pulling in and out of these cars. It's quite easy to deal with as far as the cherry picker goes. And since everything's relatively new as far as putting this motor in, nothing as far as the engine mounts and anything like that was really, you know, rusted together or anything. So it was pretty easy to get out. I did have a little trouble separating the transmission from the engine, but I see why. There's a pin somewhere on here that helps you line it up to the transmission, and that pin was kind of rusty, and it took a little prying to get that out. Got the oil pan off, saw a lot more silver, so obviously something has happened to the bearings in this motor, probably due to some type of malfunction in the oil pump. I haven't got the front part off of the motor, but I did get one head off. The cylinder walls look really nice. They look brand new, just like the day they came out of the factory. I have yet to get this head off, but I expect the same. I can peek down through here, and the camshaft looks pretty good. So I think the engine shut off and didn't run. It didn't run with any rod knock or anything like that. So it did shut off quite early, and hopefully we're not going to find that much damage when I take it apart the rest of the way. But that's what we're going to be working on over the winter, and we'll probably be selling all sorts of bits and pieces to pay for this engine rebuild here, because the funds are low in Meldrum Sponsor Garage. But we'll figure out a way to get it done, and we got all winter to do it, and get this motor back in the car. I had really considered, before this happened, I was considering selling this car to move on to another project, but obviously we're not going to sell a motor like this to somebody. We're going to get it working properly, and that's about it. So I guess we'll get back to work in Meldrum's Monster Garage, and I'm not going to show you any more on the headliner, because I did manage to get the sail panels done. And with the sail panels, I used a spray glue and applied it to this backing, and then just folded it over on the top and the bottom. And then I'll need a little extra material right here that I left flapping to tuck in to the sides. So, you know, I'm all set to keep putting this headliner in, but like I say, I tend to gravitate towards mechanical projects, and I gravitated towards this engine once I got some gumption up to pull it out of there. So, okay, that's where we stand at Meldrum's Monster Garage, and let's get to the rest of the newsletter. Oh, I will say this. Taking apart an LS motor is pretty darn easy. I mean, I watched some videos on taking apart the fuel injection, and if you have an 8mm, a 10mm, a 13mm, and a 15mm wrench, you can pretty much take this engine apart. It's just like, you know, the Chevy small block or big block. You had a 7/16 half and 9/16 and maybe a 5/8 for a few bolts, and you pretty much got it. So same thing with this motor. It comes apart pretty easy. They made quite a few improvements on these motors to make it kind of dummy proof it as far as putting it back together, and we'll get into that as we tear this down and put it back together, and maybe we'll show you some of that next month. I still have yet to take the front part of the motor off. The water pump's still on the motor. The oil pump is just under the cover here, and yeah, I'm going to look at a few main bearings before I take apart anything else, and that's about it. But like I said, I think this motor will be all right. Might need some new bearings. Crossing my fingers that the crank isn't scored or anything like that, and it should go back together really nice.
VP Report by Gerry Lorkowski.
Hello everybody, VP Gerry here with our December birthdays and anniversaries. Don't really have a lot going on this month, but here's what we have. On the 2nd we have Kim Angelo. On the 4th we have Tony Lorkowski and Debbie Justice. On the 5th we have Jason Gang, Jim Mayu, and Jeff Thompson. On the 8th we have Mary Doyle. On the 13th we have Bernice Harrison. On the 15th we have Judy Kyle. On the 25th, Jason Voltrich. On the 27th we have Aaron Angelo. On the 29th we have David Pitter and Patty Stump. And on the 30th we have Tim Foster. Our December anniversaries are: on the 5th we have Dale and Linda McIntosh. And on the 27th, we have John and Darlene K-Metz. Like to wish all of you a happy birthday, happy anniversary. Like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. Hope you have a great month. Until the first of the year, we'll see ya.
And now it's time for another round of Mels Musings with Melanie Bender.
Chevelle Club fans, remember we talked about giving a TV away today? Well, we drew the winner for a TV. Not this one behind me here, but it is a TV. Mark will get a hold of you and make the arrangements for you to get it. Pick up only, no shipping. Does that sound familiar? Anyway, the winner of the TV is Gerry Von Draska. Congratulations, Gerry. You win a beautiful TV. Was only used one time. We had to use it for something to put videos on. But it's a beautiful TV. I hope you and Deb enjoy it. And Merry Christmas from the Northern Ohio Chevelle Club. Thank you for being a part of our organization, and enjoy the TV with better health in the coming years. So take care. Have a Merry Christmas. Congratulations, Gerry.
So hopefully you enjoyed all the newsletters we brought to you this year. I want to thank my newsletter team. You know who you are. You're there for me every month, and I really appreciate that, and I appreciate all the people that operate behind the scenes at the Northern Ohio Chevelle Club and help us make this club what it is every year. So from my family to your family, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and see ya!